Hello YouTube, this is Game of Knowledge and More, Game of Knowledge, GoCam, or just Fred if you want to go by my real name, back with another video. Today, we are doing another deck profile. This is on my Gaia the Fierce Knight Blackluster Soldier deck. I was thinking of calling it Gaia the Blackluster Knight deck, but I want to try and come up with a better name. This is a speed dueling deck. So because of that, I'm going to start with the skills. I have 3 skills for this deck. The first one is Peak Performance. It's a field spell skill. So as soon as a game starts, you just put in your field spell zone. And it gives all dragon, winged beast, and thunder monsters on the field choice to attack and defense. It gives them that much. You'll see why in a bit. Next are more specific to either of the boss monsters. I'll start with the one for Blackluster Soldier. It's Ritual of Black Mastery. You activate it during your main phase. And while you control either Blackluster Soldier or Magician of Black Chaos that you ritual summon this turn. We're not going to focus on the Magician of Black Chaos effect because we don't run him in the deck, but we are focusing on the Blackluster Soldier effect. While you control Blackluster Soldier, it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's skill. Also, once per turn, if your opponent activates a trap card, you draw 1 card immediately after results. The other one is more of a Gaia the Fierce Knight skill. It is the Knight of Legend. You activate it during your main phase, and each turn, 1 Gaia the Fierce Knight you normal summon can be summoned without tributing. And you apply the following effect, the following skills while you control either a Gaia the Fierce Knight monster or a Gaia the Dragon Champion monster. If it attacks a defense position monster, it inflicts piercing bow damage, and once per turn, if it inflicts bow damage with this skill, you draw 2, then discard a card. Also, you cannot activate set cards in the spell trap card zone. That is a downside to activating set spell trap cards, but in a way, you won't be activating it any. And I forgot to sort this deck out. I forgot to put it in order. So please hold on for a moment. I'm going to start with the trap cards. Now we are only running 4 because of the setting part. So the first one is Jar of Avarice. You target 5 cards in your graveyard except this and shuffle them into the deck to draw a card. And you can only use 1 of them per turn. I am having it in there for resetting my deck kind of and for card draw. The next one is what we'll be discarding due to the Knight of Legend skill. It is Skill Successor. What it does is that you target a face of monster you control, it gains 400 attack until the end phase. That we won't be activating. The one we will be activating is during your turn, except the turn this was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this from your graveyard, then target 1 face of monster you control. That target gains 800 attack until the end of this turn. So not only does it help with, not only is it a good discard target for Knight of Legend, but also when you discard it, it will give your monsters even more attack points. Next, for the spells, I'm running 2 Blackluster Rituals. This card is used to ritual summon Blackluster Soldier, and you must also tribute monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal 8 or more. So it's the way that you're bringing out Blackluster Soldier in this deck. I could have added advanced ritual art and some monsters just for that, but because I want to be as Gaia and Blackluster Soldier as possible, I'm only going to run Blackluster Ritual. Next, I'm running 2 Spiral Spear Strike. It's the same. Oh, Bob. I can't handwrite. If it has the same effect as the skill, except it's if Gaia the First Knight, Swift Gaia the First Knight, or Gaia the Dragon Champion, instead of a Gaia the First Knight or a Gaia the Dragon Champion monster. We are not running Swift Gaia in this deck because I didn't get any from any pack, but I am running Gaia the First Knight and Gaia the Dragon Champion. Next up, I am running a Shard of Greed. Each time you draw a card or cards for your normal draw in your draw phase, you place a greed counter on it, and you can send it with 2 or more to draw 2 cards. So it's like a delayed part of greed. Lastly, for the spells, I'm running 2 polymerizations. It's in here. This is in here for Gaia the Dragon Champion, who we are also. He's the main reason why we're running peak performance, because he's a. I'll still get to it in a bit. So, for the monsters, I'm going to go through the Gaia, the main archetype cards first. So, for that, I am running 2 Gaia the First Knight. Is what we need to bring out Gaia the Dragon Champion, and also because of Nav Legend, we can just bring him out and just start swinging with him if we want to. Also, which is good because he has 2300 attack points, which is really good. Next, for the other material for Gaia the Dragon Champion, I'm running 2 Curse of Dragon. He's mainly in here to summon out Gaia the Dragon Champion, but if I have to, I could use him to bring out Blackluster Soldier if I want to. Same with Gaia the First Knight. Next, for some Blackluster Soldier cards, I'm running Charging Gaia the First Knight. You can normal summon him without tributing, and if you do so, then his original attack becomes 1900, and if it's tributed, you can add 1 Blackluster Soldier monster from your deck to your hand. You would almost never use the Blackluster. You'd almost never use either effect, but you can if you want to in this deck. He's in here. If I do use this effect, then it would probably be because I have 1 Blackluster Soldier in my hand and 2 Blackluster Rituals. Next up, I have one of the boss monsters is Blackluster Soldier. The only thing he has is that you can withdraw summon this card with Blackluster Ritual. He's what you need for the Ritual of Black Mastery, and also with Charging Gaia, you're just 1 level away to bring him out. Next, for the hand traps, and for the hand traps, I'm going to start with the card that can help out with Blackluster Soldier, which is Sphere Kuribo. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can send this card from your hand to the grave to change the attacking monster to defense position. And when you ritual summon, you can banish this card from your graveyard as one of the monsters required to ritual summon. So, if I could, I'd like to use him with Charging Gaia to bring out your Blackluster Soldiers, but after you use his first effect. If I have to, I would discard him due to the Nav Legend skill. Next, I'm running 2 of the original Kuribo. What he does is that during the damage calculation, if your opponent's monster attacks you quick effect, you can discard him to take no battle damage from that. He's in that for that effect, and as I see that's a good effect in a way. Lastly, 2 DD Crows. What he does is that quick effect. You can discard him to target a card in your opponent's graveyard and banish it, just in case they have their own sphere Kuribo or something. Next up, for the extra deck, I'm only running 2 Gaia Dragon Champions. Here's the other boss monster of the deck, and what you need for Nav Legend. Also, just to let you know, now when you activate Nav Legend, in terms of the normal summoning thing, it says each turn one Gaia the First Night you normal summon can be summoned without tributing. So that means the original Gaia the First Night, not charging Gaia. But it does have another, but because of Nav Legend, it also says while you control a Gaia the First Night monster, so that means that you, for that effect, you do include charging Gaia the First Night, because he has Gaia the First Night in its name, therefore it's a Gaia the First Night monster. Now I do have a sideboard for this deck. First off, I am running, there are 3 Twisters. I would have it in the main deck, but because of it needing life points to do so, I would prefer to have all the other cards that I do have in it, because what it does is that you pay 500 life points, then you target one face-up spell trap card on the field, destroy that target. So if I run all 3, then that's 1500 life points in total, which nearly takes me down to half my life points in speed dueling. Next, I'm running 2 Fighting Spirit. The reason why we don't run this is because with them on a monster, it gives a 300 attack for each monster your opponent controls. But because this is a battle heavy deck, there's a high chance of your opponent having no monsters with this deck. So it does give a bit of protection, but it's only temporary. Next, I'm running Mountain, which is a field spell version, a normal version of the peak performance skill. So I don't really need to explain what it does, because it pretty much stays the same. And lastly, I'm running 2 Dust Tornado. It's similar to Twister, except it's any spell trap card your opponent controls instead of face up, and you can also set a spell trap card from your hand. So that winds up the deck. I hope you enjoyed this episode of this video. Please like, comment and subscribe on here if you want to see more videos, and also please check out my social media on Facebook and Instagram as well as Twitter. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.